The world, like nature itself, is always changing. Nations rise and fall, their fortunes shifting in ways few can predict. Progress isn't a straight line. History is full of countries that went from prosperity to hardship. Today, we'll explore 10 nations that were once celebrated as the best places to live, but now face immense challenges. We'll revisit their golden eras, then examine the struggles that have reshaped them. This isn't about blame, but about understanding the complex forces, economic, political, and social, that shape a nation's destiny. Let's begin. Our journey begins in Venezuela, a country that was once celebrated as South America's wealthiest nation, all thanks to its seemingly endless oil reserves. For decades, oil was the lifeblood of Venezuela, fueling not just its economy, but also the dreams and ambitions of its people. The discovery of oil transformed the nation almost overnight, bringing rapid modernization and a sense of boundless possibility. Caracas, the capital, became a vibrant symbol of this newfound prosperity. Its bustling streets and gleaming skyscrapers attracted immigrants from across the globe, all hoping to share in the Venezuelan dream. The city's energy was palpable and its culture flourished as people from different backgrounds came together. But beneath the surface, Venezuela's heavy reliance on oil made it dangerously vulnerable. When global oil prices plummeted, the nation's fortunes quickly unraveled. The once booming oil industry faltered, and the economy began to spiral downward. Economic mismanagement and political turmoil soon followed, compounding the crisis. Hyperinflation took hold, eroding the value of the bolivar and wiping out savings. Basic services collapsed, leaving millions without reliable electricity, healthcare, or even clean water. Supermarket shelves emptied almost overnight, and daily life became a relentless struggle for survival. Families waited in long lines for hours, hoping to find food and essential supplies that were increasingly scarce. Today, millions of Venezuelans face poverty and deep uncertainty about the future. The once glittering skyscrapers of Caracas now stand as haunting reminders of a lost era, overshadowed by the hardships that have engulfed the nation. The crisis only deepened as political conflict erupted, fracturing society and pitting neighbors against each other. Protests and clashes became a common sight, reflecting the growing desperation and anger among the people. Venezuela's story is a stark reminder of how quickly prosperity can vanish when a nation's fate is tied to a single resource. The contrast between wealth and poverty is now more visible than ever. Once a land of opportunity and hope, Venezuela now faces profound hardship. Its people continue to search for a better future, even as they carry the memories of a lost El Dorado. Next, we visit Lebanon, a country that once dazzled the world and earned the nickname Paris of the Middle East. Its capital, Beirut, was a beacon of elegance and sophistication, where East met West in a unique blend of cultures, ideas, and lifestyles. In the 1960s and early 70s, Beirut thrived as a cultural and financial hub, celebrated for its diversity, vibrant nightlife, and intellectual energy. Artists, writers, and musicians flocked to the city, filling its cafes and theaters with creativity and conversation. But beneath the glamour and cosmopolitan charm, deep political and religious divisions simmered, threatening the city's fragile peace. Tensions grew as different groups vied for power and influence. The outbreak of civil war in 1975 shattered Beirut's golden age, leaving scars that would take decades to heal. Yet, the city's people showed resilience, slowly rebuilding their homes and lives from the rubble. Even after the war, fragile politics and widespread corruption continued to erode the foundations of Lebanese society, making true recovery difficult and fueling public frustration. In recent years, Lebanon has faced new disasters. Economic collapse and the devastating 2020 Beirut port explosion have plunged most Lebanese into poverty, destroying homes and livelihoods in an instant. The Lebanese pound has lost nearly all its value, basic services like electricity and healthcare have failed, and daily life has become a constant struggle for millions. Yet, amid the ruins, Beirut's spirit endures. Children play among the rubble, families cling to hope, and the Lebanese flag still waves defiantly over shattered neighborhoods. The cosmopolitan dream of old Beirut has faded, replaced by a daily fight for existence. But the resilience and determination of its people remain unbroken as they continue to hope for a brighter future. South Africa once inspired the world with its peaceful transition from apartheid to democracy. The Rainbow Nation promised equality and hope, but the legacy of inequality proved hard to overcome. While some prospered, millions remained in poverty, and optimism faded. Today, South Africa faces high unemployment, crime, and chronic power shortages. Corruption and failing infrastructure have deepened disillusionment. The beacon of hope has dimmed, struggling against persistent shadows of the past. The dream of a united, prosperous nation remains elusive. Argentina was once among the world's richest countries, its capital a symbol of elegance and culture. But cycles of political instability and economic mismanagement led to repeated crises. Reliance on commodity exports and mounting debt fueled inflation and uncertainty. The peso's value plummeted, and defaults became common. For Argentines, life is a constant battle with economic chaos. Social unrest is frequent, as people protest shrinking wages and lost opportunities. The grand boulevards of Buenos Aires now echo with both past glory and present hardship. Argentina's dance with crisis continues, leaving its people weary. Once, Turkey stood as a beacon of modernity, a nation uniquely poised between East and West, celebrated for its rapid economic growth, vibrant culture, and cosmopolitan cities. The world watched as Istanbul's skyline soared, and Turkey's influence seemed to stretch across continents, promising a future of prosperity and progress. Its cities modernized at a breathtaking pace, drawing millions of tourists to its ancient bazaars and surreal landscapes. A new middle class flourished, and for a time hope was everywhere, on the streets, in the markets, and in the dreams of ordinary people. But over the past decade, the winds have shifted. A turn toward authoritarian rule has chipped away at democratic freedoms, fueling unrest and deepening social divides. The optimism that once filled the air has given way to anxiety and uncertainty. Crackdowns on dissent, combined with controversial economic decisions, have unleashed runaway inflation and sent the currency into freefall. The cost of living has soared, and the stability that once defined daily life has vanished. The collapse of the Turkish lira has wiped out savings for countless families. For many, each day is now a struggle to afford even basic necessities, as uncertainty shadows every transaction. The once bright dream of joining the European Union has faded into the background, replaced by a sense of isolation and political gridlock. Hopes for integration and shared prosperity have been replaced by questions about what comes next. Tourists still flock to Turkey's wonders, marveling at its history and beauty. But for many Turks, the daily reality is one of hardship, uncertainty, and a longing for the stability that once seemed assured. Today, the nation stands at a crossroads, its people searching for hope, its future hanging in the balance. The choices made now will shape generations to come. Turkey's promise, once so clear, is now clouded by doubt. Yet, in the face of uncertainty, the spirit of its people endures, waiting for a new dawn. Sri Lanka, once the Pearl of the Orient, emerged from civil war with hope and a booming tourism industry. But poor economic decisions and the pandemic devastated its finances. Foreign reserves vanished, and the country couldn't pay for essentials. Severe shortages of food, fuel, and medicine led to daily hardship and rolling blackouts. Massive protests erupted, demanding change as the government faltered. The images of citizens storming the presidential palace symbolized a paradise lost. Sri Lanka's future is now uncertain, its people struggling to rebuild. The island's beauty remains, but desperation overshadows hope. Hong Kong was a global financial hub, thriving under the one country, two systems promise of autonomy. Its unique freedoms and vibrant culture set it apart from mainland China. But Beijing's increasing control, especially after the 2020 national security law, has silenced dissent and eroded rights. Protests have been crushed, media shut down, and many residents have emigrated. The city's status as a global hub endures, but its spirit has changed. The beacon of freedom has dimmed, its future dictated from afar. Hong Kong's unique character is now under siege. Greece, cradle of Western civilization, enjoyed prosperity after joining the EU and adopting the euro. But hidden debt and overspending led to a severe crisis after 2008. Austerity measures brought deep cuts and soaring unemployment, especially among youth. The economy shrank, and many young Greeks left in search of opportunity. While recovery has begun, scars remain. Poverty, inequality, and disillusionment linger. The Mediterranean allure persists, but the dream of security has been shaken. Greece's modern woes are a stark contrast to its ancient glory. Ukraine, once a vibrant, independent nation, was building a modern future after the Soviet era. Its cities thrived, and a new generation looked to Europe. But conflict erupted in 2014, and the 2022 invasion by Russia brought devastation. Cities have been destroyed, millions displaced, and daily life is now defined by war. Ukraine's culture and sovereignty are under threat, its people enduring unimaginable hardship. The breadbasket of Europe now struggles for survival. A nation once full of promise now fights for its very existence. Myanmar, once isolated under military rule, began opening up in 2011, sparking hope and growth. Political reforms brought new freedoms, investment, and optimism. But in 2021, a military coup ended this progress overnight. Elected leaders were jailed, protests were brutally crushed, and the country plunged back into darkness. Civil unrest and economic collapse followed, with humanitarian conditions worsening. The brief era of openness now feels like a distant memory. Myanmar's people face renewed oppression and uncertainty. The door to a brighter future has slammed shut. These 10 nations show how quickly fortunes can change. Prosperity is fragile, and progress is never guaranteed. Behind every crisis are millions of human stories, of resilience, struggle, and hope. Even in hardship, the human spirit endures, demanding a better future. History proves that recovery is possible and change is constant. The future remains unwritten, shaped by the choices and courage of people everywhere. Stay hopeful, stay informed, and thank you for watching.